Hold him steady.
Outlander is over. 12 years, 8 seasons. One of the greatest love stories television has ever told. And on Friday night, the show that started with a Scottish Highland ghost watching a woman through a rain-soaked window in 1945 ended by finally telling us exactly who that ghost was and exactly why he was standing there. And I honestly sat with that final image for a long time before I felt ready to say anything about it. Let's talk about everything that happened in And the World Was All Around Us. The morning before the battle, the goodbyes that felt like the entire show saying farewell to itself. Whether Jamie Fraser actually died at King's Mountain the way Frank's book always said he would, what Claire's white hair means, and what that post-credit scene with Diana Gabaldon herself is telling us about everything we just watched. Because this finale had layers that reward every single season that came before it, and I want to make sure we honor all of it. First, the opening, because the show knew what it was doing from the very first frame. The episode opened with the series' original title sequence, with the current cast names swapped in, and the theme song, Sky Boat Song, sung by original artist Raya Yarbrough. Not Annie Lennox's version that has played all season. The original. The one that played in 2014 when none of us knew what we were walking into. And I honestly got emotional before a single line of dialogue had been spoken. Because the show was telling us we are going all the way back to the beginning now. Every thread that was planted in the first episode is about to close. The episode opens with Jamesy summoning his men near a burning cross at the meeting house. It is almost time to fight the British, who are on their way to the back country. And the weight of Frank's history book is in the room with every character, whether they say it or not. Because Frank wrote that Jamie Fraser would die at the Battle of King's Mountain. And Frank's book has been right before. And Jamie knows it. And Claire knows it. And watching them move through that final morning, knowing what the history books say, is one of the most unbearable things this show has ever asked us to sit with. Jamie and Claire steal one final morning together, speaking softly of bees, vases, blue flowers, and ghosts, threads that tie all the way back to season 1. Jamie jokes he might return as a spirit to check in on her, a line that lands heavier now that we know what is coming. And I honestly think that line is the most important piece of foreshadowing in the entire episode. Because Jamie is not just making a joke. He is making a promise. And the finale makes him keep it. The goodbye scenes are somber, intimate, and unmistakably Outlander. Legacy as love letter. William receives whiskey and a Bible. Marsali is given Jamie's quills and stationery acknowledging her writing pursuits. And there are moments between Claire and Fanny, between Brianna and Jamie, between Claire and Brianna, each one trying to find some closure before the battle begins. And I could not watch any of them without thinking about how far every single one of these characters has traveled to be standing in that room together. The show built this family across 8 seasons and then asked us to say goodbye to them in a single morning. The march to King's Mountain is grim. The battle itself is chaotic, smoky, and brutal. Roger is given the hopeless task of keeping Claire out of the battle. And anyone who has watched Claire Randall Fraser for 8 seasons knows exactly how well that goes. Because Claire does not stay back while Jamie is in that field. She never has. And she is not going to start now. She throws herself headlong into the battle because she does not intend to let searching for him on the edge be all she has left. And Jaime dies. As per Frank's history book, Jaime meets his demise at the Battle of King's Mountain, and Claire finds him. When Claire finds him safe and sound amidst the corpses and blood, she can hardly believe they have made it. But they have not. Not both of them. Not the way she needs them to. And the final scene shows Claire still lying next to Jaime's body after he died at the Battle of King's Mountain. This time her hair is completely white. White. Her entire head of hair white. And I want to talk about what that means. Because this is not random. In season 7, when Claire was near death, Master Raymond appeared in her vision, and the blue healing light moved through her. And the finale's final image of Claire with white hair suggests she used that power, knowingly or unknowingly, trying to pull Jaime back. Did Claire save Jaime? Did they die together? Or did the show leave us in the space between both? The finale does not give us a clean answer, and I honestly think that is the right choice, because Jaime and Claire were never a neat love story. They traveled through time and war and loss and separation. A neat goodbye would have felt false. The ambiguity is the point. But then comes the ghost. At the very end of the finale, the scene switched to Jaime watching Claire through the window in the rain, just as he did all those years ago in season 1 when Frank saw his ghost. The moment that started everything. The question that has hung over this show since the very first episode. Who was the Highland ghost standing in the rain watching Claire through that window? The mystery of Jaime's ghost watching Claire from outside her window in the first season is finally resolved in the closing chapter. His spirit traveling to 1945 Inverness after his death at the Battle of King's Mountain, and then Jaime arrived at Craignaddon and touched the stone. Purplish blue forget-me-nots magically appeared at its base, the same ones Claire found that would cause her to time travel for the first time. The standing stones that started everything. The flowers that sent Claire spinning through time to a Scottish Highlander she had no business falling in love with. And here at the end of the story, Jaime's spirit standing at those same stones, those same flowers blooming at his touch. The show tells us that everything was connected from the very beginning. That the ghost in the rain was the answer to a question the show planted before any of us had even learned to love these characters. A flashback of Jaime and Claire's entire lives together played as the blue light appeared. Every season, every moment, every choice that brought them here. And I honestly could not hold it together through that montage. 12 years of this story compressed into one sequence. The show reminding you of everything you have been given before it closes the door. Now, the fan reactions. Because Reddit and every Outlander community online has been alive since Friday night, and the conversations are extraordinary. Reddit user History Armchair 22 posted, "Do we think Jaime's ghost that looks at Claire in the 1940s could be his spirit visiting her after being killed at King's Mountain and before being revived?" And Reddit user Mariami replied, "Jaime showed a clear link to the future in the books. He woke and described electric lights and other visions. He even spoke with Bree while he was in Jamaica. His ghost appeared less like a spirit and more like a projection of his conscious mind at rest." And that interpretation, Jaime's spirit traveling through time the same way Claire's body did, is the one that feels truest to everything this show has always believed about the Frasers. That they were never bound by ordinary rules, not of time, not of death, But not everyone is completely satisfied, and I want to be honest about that too, because several subplots were left without a proper resolution. What came of Amaranthus after William separated himself from the relationship? What became of William? These are real questions that the finale does not answer. And some fans on Reddit are genuinely frustrated by that. The show had 10 episodes to wrap up everything and made choices that prioritized Jamie and Claire, which is the right call, but left some threads blowing in the wind. As Ian returns home to Rachel after the battle, he shares that perhaps going to Fraser's Ridge might be in their family's future. He has land there that Roger gave to him. Rachel is not opposed, because as long as the place is safe and fruitful, they will be able to raise their family there. A family that is already beginning to form because Rachel is pregnant. And in the middle of all of this grief and ambiguity, a new life. The Frasers continue. The Ridge continues. Ian and Rachel and a baby who will be born into a world that their grandfather died to protect, and then Rollo died. They awakened the next morning to find that Rollo has died. Ian is shattered, but he has plans to bury him somewhere special. And I want to say something about Rollo. In a finale full of enormous moments, Jamie's death, the ghost, the white hair, the stones, the death of a dog made me cry in a way I was completely unprepared for. Because Rollo has been Ian's companion through everything. And losing him the morning after the battle, while Ian is already carrying grief, is this show's final reminder that even small losses leave marks that last. And if you stayed through the credits, Diana Gabaldon herself appears at a bookstore signing circa 1991. Someone asks about a leather-bound journal near her on the table. She responds that it is a wee bit of inspiration. And viewers recognize it as the journal where Claire started writing her story, which happened to be the opening words of Outlander, the book, earlier in season 8. The circle closes completely. Claire wrote the story. Diana found it. And the show that started with a time-traveling nurse and a Scottish Highlander ends with the author who created them both holding the journal that contains everything they lived through. Catriona Balfe and Sam Huggins said before the finale that the coming back for season 8 was a way for them to give a satisfying end. Not only for themselves, but for the fans. And I honestly think they did. Not perfectly. Not with every thread tied neatly. But with the emotional honesty this show has always carried. The willingness to sit in the uncertainty of love and loss and time and still believe that two people can find each other across any distance. Jamie Fraser is dead. And his ghost is standing in the rain outside Claire's window in 1945 because love does not end at King's Mountain. It never does. It never has. That is the only answer Outlander was ever going to give us. And I honestly think it was the right one. All 8 seasons of Outlander are available on Starz right now. And Diana Gabaldon is currently writing Book 10. A Blessing for a Warrior Going Out, which will tell us what happens next in the universe the show just closed. The viewers are left imagining what happens next or turning into anticipated readers waiting for Diana Gabaldon to finish her last book. The story is not over. It never really is. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think Claire saved Jamie with her healing powers? And did the ghost resolution give you the ending you needed after 12 years? Because after watching that final scene at Craina Dun, I honestly think Jamie Fraser kept his promise. And I think he always would have